Conservative New Media viewers, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the four-time national champion. Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert, is joining by phone. We want to preview this very important, in our personal opinion, game, critical game even, between Jeremy Lin and the New York Knicks and the Milwaukee Bucks. Why is this game so important? This game is important because the Bucks and the New York Knicks are both vying for that 8th playoff spot. At the same time, it's possible the Knicks, who are right now above the Bucks in the standings, could even move up ahead of the Celtics. All kinds of things can happen. But at the very least, the Knicks want to make sure they've got that 8th playoff spot secured. And with only 1.5 games separating these two teams, this Monday game is very important in getting that done with little games remaining left in the season. Paul, how do you see this game coming down on Monday?
CNN viewers, I was just going through some stats and some numbers right now, and I'm really liking this matchup for the Knicks. The Bucks are fairly reliant on their backcourt of Brandon Jennings and Monta Ellis for a lot of their scoring and playmaking. Also, Mike Dunleavy coming off the bench, he can score a decent amount of points too. Now, I like Ilyasova, their power forward. That guy could be a future star. Had some amazing games this year, like 20 points, 20 rebound games. Still, a lot of what they do is going through the backcourt, particularly with the addition of Monta Ellis when they traded Andrew Bogut for to the Golden State Warriors. Now, Jeremy Lin is going to have his hands full of Brandon Jennings, and Landry Fields definitely is going to have his hands full of Monta Ellis. But I like the Knicks' size edge in this game. I think that if they can work a lot of things through Carmelo Anthony
Mellow time.
And Amari Stoudemire, I like Tyson Chandler against Drew Gooden. I think that the Knicks' edge in this game will come in the front court and on the defensive end. I'm not counting the Milwaukee Bucks out. Milwaukee's tough. They play for head coach Scott Skiles. Their trademark of the Bucks is they never give up, and they will fight you to the end. They're very, very tough-minded like Skiles is. But I think that the 3, 4, and 5 spots, small forward, power forward, center, is where the Knicks have the advantage in this game. I think their defense will be able to do good against those positions, and I think that I like where New York is. If they can win this game, you can really get a nice advantage over Milwaukee trying to lock up that 8th playoff spot.
Interesting. Now look, are you saying then that, well, let me put it this way. How do you expect Jeremy Lin to run his game on Monday? Do you feel that he will attack the basket aggressively as we've seen before? Or do you feel like he will use more of a ball movement and assist game, feeding Amari and feeding Melo the rock down below? Or does it just depend on how the team plays? Meaning that, like, if they're a little bit flat, that he's going to just take the ball himself and attack it. How do you feel like this is going to set up early on? What's Jeremy Lin's strategy going to be in this game, do you think?
I think Lin is he's certainly going to need to work on the defensive end against Jennings and Ellis. But it's a good question because I think that because the Bucks no longer have Andrew Bogut, who was an excellent shot blocker, they're vulnerable in the middle. You can get to the paint, and there's nobody back there who's going to alter or block your shot. And so I think that Lin should and will look to attack the basket more so than he could do even tonight. Greg Monroe is a pretty good shot blocker for Detroit. You have to think about it a little bit more. But the Bucks don't have a guy like that anymore. And so I think that will be a strategy for them. I think that Carmelo Anthony will be able to do some nice work against Carlos Delfino when Carmelo's on offense. Hopefully the Knicks will get some rest. They need rest. They were definitely looking a little ragged tonight, but that happens when you play 4 games in 5 nights. I think they'll be very ready. I tell you, the crowd is going to be quite ready.
Oh, man,
and I expect that there's going to be a lot of energy in that building. Milwaukee is going to come and play, but I think the Knicks are in a good position. They have a very good position.
And what's interesting about this is Look, I agree with you. I think the Knicks are in a good position. They've got all day tomorrow to rest. They've got, part of Monday to rest, stuff like that. They're at home. They're not traveling. I think that is to the Knicks' advantage. Also, the Bucks are not as strong on the road as a team. They're about even at home, I believe. I think they're even at home. But on the road, they're weaker. And again, of course, always, this is all a personal opinion only. We're not alleging facts. We're not casting aspersions. All for entertainment purposes only. Please check the disclaimers. And the thing of it is that, okay, I can see, and maybe I'm wrong about this. I think you're right in terms of how Jeremy Lin's going to play this game, at least at first. I think that he will obviously adjust to whatever the situation presents itself on the court in real time in the game. At the same time, I can see, Jeremy Lin, really as the game goes down the stretch, getting more aggressive in that fourth quarter and putting the pressure on the Bucks. Like you said, I mean, I think they're a tough team. I think they're gonna, they're always hanging around and playing tough in every game that I've seen. Also, but I can see a situation where Jeremy Lin might just measure some of these people up and just start banging out some threes long range to free up that underneath action for Melo and Stoudemire, and I think things could get very interesting if that happens. What do you think about that?
That could happen. That's a possibility. Milwaukee. I haven't studied them. I haven't watched them recently, so I'm not totally familiar with their normal defensive schemes. I don't know if they play zone defense or sag a little bit. They probably will try to help a little bit down low. Because of those matchup advantages I think the Knicks have. So, as you mentioned, if that's the case, then the Knicks are going to have to be able to hit some outside shots to loosen things up. As you said, Milwaukee is 11-11 at home. They are 11-15 on the road. Knicks are 15-10 at home. Certainly that favors New York. I think it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, we know that we were just reported on. Jeremy Lin banged up his knee a little bit tonight, but he said that the doctor told him he'll be okay in a couple of days. Amari Stoudemire tweaked his back, but he said he's going to be okay. I think what you saw with those little injuries is just the team's worn down.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are worn down this year. You've seen a lot of guys getting hurt. Hopefully they'll just be able to shake it off, get some rest and ice, get in the tub, soak a little bit. I think that Milwaukee knows how important this game is. Again, they are a tough-minded team. They're going to come to fight and come to win. But I like the position New York is in, at least given that we're expecting Amari Stoudemire and Jeremy Lin to be healthy for this game. So I think Milwaukee, they're not. I'm not going to say they're a run and gun team. They're not, but they, especially now with a little bit of a smaller lineup, they like to get up and down the floor. The Knicks can play that game. Certainly, Jeremy Lin can play that game, and the Knicks are good with Jeremy Lin when they're playing that type of game because he can get, he can move the ball and spread around, get out on the break, and he can finish and he can find other people. So hopefully it'll be more of an interesting game than perhaps tonight's game was for the fans, but I think it's going to be good. I mean, this is, New York is ready. I'm sure that all the New York newspapers are going to be hyping this game up like crazy. The crowd's going to be frenzied, and it should be a great matchup.
I think the crowd's going to be very, very into this game. I think there's going to be, a lot of fans there really making this whole thing energized, stuff like that. I expect to see Spike Lee there. I think we could see other celebrities in the mix. And I feel like, the fans are really going to be behind us. Again, Linsanity 2.0 is in full effect. 6-1 in this Linsanity 2.0 streak. And also, Mike Woodson, since he's taken over the head coaching job of this team, is 6-1. So there's momentum building around this team. I think people are definitely feeling it and believing in it and seeing it, in my personal opinion, that, this team is so much better with Jeremy Lin in the mix and starting in Linsanity. But also, I think they're feeling and seeing that this team has a realistic shot at the playoffs and may even be moving up the standings even more. So something's going right here. I think people are going to get behind that. Predict Jeremy Lin's play. What kind of game do you think he's going to have here on Monday against the Bucks? Do you feel like he's going to be able to get in double digits points? Would he even get up to around 20? How do you think those assists are going to look? And what about the turnovers?
I think that Jeremy Lin, as long as his knee is doing okay, is going to have a good game in this game.
Yeah.
And the two reasons are Jeremy Lin is competitive, and Brandon Jennings is definitely going to come at him, and Brandon Jennings can put some points on the board. So if Brandon Jennings is out there doing his thing, Jeremy Lin's going to want to answer that. Not in a foolish way, but in a competitive, good way. Also, because of Milwaukee's difficulties at defending the paint and defending the rim, I think that Jeremy Lin's going to have a lot of opportunities to get into the lane and score some layups as he is able to do. So also, if things become more of an up-tempo game, he loves that. He's good at that. So I definitely think he's going to get double digits again, just accepting that or on the basis that he's healthy and everything. I think you definitely get the double digits. I'm looking for probably somewhere between 15 to 20 points. I mean, I think that's a conservative type of estimate. I think he'll probably be around there. And as far as assist and turnovers, I'm not really sure about that. The whole team played a little sloppy tonight. We talked about that. I talked about that in my post-game video. Some of the turnovers that Lin had, and he had 7, they weren't his fault. I don't know. I do know this, though, that he and the team understand how important this game is.
This game is very
And
important.
so I think that their play will be sharper and crisper. So maybe we'll see a few less turnovers, although Brandon Jennings, Monta Ellis, and those guys, they have quick hands. They're quick players. So Lin is going to have to be careful to avoid just some unnecessary turnovers. But I think he'll be ready to go. I think he'll have a good game, maybe even better.
This is going to be an incredible game, I believe. I predict that the New York Knicks will win again, taking Linsanity 2.0 to 7-1. I also predict that Jeremy Lin is going to have a good, even a great game. I think the rest is going to help him. I think that the rest is going to help the entire team. I think the importance of this game is also very, very focused. Jeremy Lin has to be thinking in his mind, the streak, everything, all this thing has been great, and, the Volvo endorsement, everything like that. But if he can get this team to the playoffs, if they can go to the playoffs with this team, I mean, that's just going to take it to a whole different level, in my personal opinion. And so I feel like he's going to really come out strong here. So I'm saying Jeremy Lin is actually going to get over 20 points, and I think that I would not be surprised if he gets close to or over 10 assists, because I think he's going to be able to feed the rock to Melo and Amari down underneath, and I think he's going to take those slashing lane attempts and get the layups and maybe even a dunk, and I feel like he will be taking his three-point shots as well. Go ahead, Paul.
Let me just say this. This is an important game. Obviously, it's important for the playoffs. But it's also important psychologically for New York, because if they beat the Milwaukee, they're back to 500. They'll be at 25-25.
Huge.
Before they were rolling, they had gotten to 500. They might have even gotten a game or two up on 500. Then they went on the losing streak again, and that's what ended up with the coaching change. But it's like, if they can get this game, look good or whatever, they're back at 500. Then, as you mentioned, maybe they could start thinking about sneaking up on the Boston Celtics for the 7th playoff spot. So this is a really important game for this team and this year, and I think that Jeremy Lin is ready for that.
I think he's ready for it, and I think they want to make a statement. I think that if they can handle their business on Monday, I think they might start thinking about Boston as well. And I believe, in my personal opinion, that Jeremy Lin has some unfinished business with Rondo as well. I think that Jeremy Lin, would like a rematch there with Rondo and the Celtics. Go ahead. You want to say something about that?
There's definitely unfinished business there. The two teams, in my mind, that Jeremy Lin is going to want to play again soon are Miami Heat, who really shut him down, and the Boston Celtics. Rondo just had a ridiculous game against Lin, and I'm sure that Lin would like to return the favor. That's
it. So I feel like, that they're recharging and repowering up on the rest day on Sunday, and I feel like, they're going to be ready to go right here, and the statement starts right here. We've seen that Jeremy Lin is tough, He's got great character, in my personal opinion. He's a great superstar player in the NBA, and I feel like he's going to want to continue to show that and establish that and improve upon that. And I feel like this game against the Milwaukee Bucks is going to do that. But how do you see it out there? What do you see this matchup looking like? That's what I want to know right now. How big do you think this game is? Who do you think is going to win? What kind of game do you think Jeremy Lin is going to have? And if they're able to win this game and take Linsanity 2.0 to 7-1 and be able to then stretch a 2.5 game lead over the Milwaukee Bucks with less than 20 games to go, what then does that mean? What kind of position does that put them in vis-a-vis the playoffs? How much momentum does that give the New York Knicks and Jeremy Lin? And can we just straight up say at that point, if they are able to win this game, that Linsanity 2.0 and Linsanity in general is absolutely here and established forever? It's for real. How big will that be to the fans of New York? I want all that, because I really can't stress this enough. The more I think about it, the more I really feel like this game is so important. This game, it can just be a permanent, like, status lifting situation for Jeremy Lin and the New York Knicks, getting to 500, beating the other team vying for that 8th playoff spot, taking Linsanity 2.0 to 7-1 streak, winning again in front of your own hometown fans. I just think that that means a whole lot, and I think that positions them so well for that playoff run there to get into the playoffs. But what's your take on it? Give us the comments below. Please subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal, the 4-time national champion. That is Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We are Conservative Media. Please rate this video up, and also please share it on your social networking sites. You're watching Conservative Media. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and definitely stay tuned. After the game, we will have complete reports that we do, as you know from our stuff, and reaction. And if you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check out our Jeremy Lin and the New York Knicks playlist. We've got almost 80 videos in that playlist, and in our personal opinion, we strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin fan channel and news and commentary information source for Jeremy Lin on YouTube. So if you're a Jeremy Lin fan, I think you want to check that out. You're watching Conservative Media. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time.